Courts reject Obasanjo's request to release ₦1 billion defamation suit against Punch. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for tuning in and listening to this headline we brought for you this morning. As our headline for this morning says that the courts reject Obasanjo's request to release ₦1 billion defamation suit against Punch. It is stated here that the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) High Court Abuja has thrown out former President Olusegun Obasanjo's request to release an earlier terminated ₦1 billion defamation suit against Punch newspaper. A judge, Modupe Osha Adebisi, issued the order in a ruling delivered on April 21. Premium Times received a certified true copy of the decision shortly after it was issued on Tuesday. The judge dismissed the ₦1 billion defamation suit on October 19, 2023, after a lawmaker in Mr. Obasanjo's legal team voluntarily appealed to withdraw it. Mrs. Osho Adebisi dismissed the suit in a ruling. She dismissed the suit on the ruling application of the nouns filed by Mr. Obasanjo's lawyer. The judge also awarded ₦4 million in costs against Mr. Obasanjo in favor of Punch newspaper and its columnist Solana Ulumeze, whose article triggered the former president's defamation suit. The court was awarded the defendants to cover the defendant's expenses. The court was awarded to the defendants to cover the defendant's expenses, including the cost of flight and fueling. They submitted in response in a short-lived legal action. Signaling their displeasure at the waste of time, the suit amounted to the judge on her own raised the ₦3 million cost requested by the defendant's lawyer and ₦1.5 million for each to ₦4 million. That is ₦2 million for each. The judge also issued the dismissal order for the case against Mr. Obasanjo's legal team, expectation of a striking order which could have given room for future litigation. Mr. Obasanjo would later apply to the court to release the case. He anchored the request because his lawyer withdrew the case without authorization. The releasing request was turned down, but the request was made by the same stiffness with which the judge threw main case out of the October 2023. The fact relied upon the applicant that the counsel on record for the claimant Bisong Otija filed the notice of discontinuance without the authorization from the principal, and the court dismissed the case as a result of the misrepresentation of counsel. This court gave a well-considered ruling on the 19th of October 2023 dismissing the case of the client, the case having reached the point of least consultations. It is therefore preferred that the claimant will come before the court seeking an order restating the court which has already been dismissed and not struck out. Ms. Osho Adebisi wrote to her judgment a certified true story of which he made available to a Premium Times on Tuesday. The judge made a distinction between a striking out order and a dismissal order, while a struck out case can be reviewed and dismissed case cannot. The judge said, the claimant is clearly under a mistaken belief that the suit already dismissed can fall under a struck out suit. This instant case does not fall into the category of where dismissed case can be relisted, having filed a notice of discontinuance at the close of pleading, the judge said. Mr. Obasanjo, a former military head of state and in the late 70s and later elected president between 1999 and 2007, began his legal battle with Punch, one of Nigeria's leading newspapers, after publishing a critical article authorized by Mr. Olumese against him in 27th of January 2019. The former president sued both the media house and the columnist ₦1 billion as damages on ground that the article was false, malicious, unjustified, injurious, scornful, distasteful, and exposed him to public odium, ridicule, and disdain. Mr. Obulu in the article also said that Obasanjo was no anti-corruption champion, either through nobody arranges corruption better than he. Yes, he launched the EFCC and ICPC, but they fought only the flights that he allowed to write the reports he wanted. The real motivation was legally drive to recover. So then he called Sani Abacha loot against the man who had thrown behind bars in the end. He could not account for the billions of dollars recovered. Well, that is not all, but what we can say right now under this headline, which says that court court rejects Obasanjo's request to release $1 billion defamation suit against Punch. Like said right here in the headline, says that the Federal Capital Territory High Court Abuja, the High Court in Abuja, has thrown out former President Olusegun Obasanjo's request to re-enlist an earlier terminated $1 billion defamation suit against the Punch newspaper. It stated that the Abuja High Court has thrown out former President Olusegun Obasanjo's request. They thrown out the request of Olusegun Obasanjo's request to release an earlier terminated $1 billion defamation suit against the Punch newspaper. This happened in Abuja, and the judge, Modupe Osho Adebisi, issued an order in a ruling delivered on 21st of April. She issued the order in a ruling delivered on the 21st of April, and the reason why this Obasanjo is suing the Punch is because they posted an article that feels injurious to him, causing a harm to his political personnel to him, and that is why he sued them a huge lot of money. And now the court that happened in 2000 that happened in 2007, and now that was the reason why Obasanjo had been fighting the Punch newspaper concerning the action that they did to him. They did to him because he feels the action. He feels what they did to him as like a scornful, distasteful, and public odium, ridicule, and disdain. It stated here that the former president sued both the media house and the Commonwealth $1 billion as damages on ground that the article they wrote about him was false. It was false, malicious, unjustified, injurious, scornful, and they exposed him to public odium and ridicule, disdain. That was why he sued the Punch newspaper. And now the court has rejected his request to release the $1 billion defamation suit against the Punch newspaper. And this instant case does not fall on the category where a dismissed case can be relisted, having filled a notice of discontinuance at the close of pleading. This was said by the judge, stating that the instant case does not fall into the category where a dismissed case, a case that has been dismissed, can be relisted, having filled the notice of discontinuance at the close of pleading. You cannot plead for the case to be relisted. That was said by the court because it has been a dismissed case. More was said concerning this, and we don't know what Olusegun Obasanjo will do concerning this anymore. Or what do you guys think? I want you all to drop your comment in the